Review number 1. This heater works really well. I decided to not direct connect the heater to the breaker panel. I opted to buy a 10-to-3 power cord and attach a 30 amp lockable plug to it. I bought approximate 10 feet of 3/4 conduit and ran 10-to-2 wire, black, white, ground, to a box with a 30 amp receptacle and cover plate attached. I used a double pole 30 amp breaker, 240V volts, due to the heater being able to draw 3000 watts on low and 6000 watts on high. The instructions are terrible and also suggest a 35 amp breaker. Instructions say use with 10-to-2 wire, which requires thicker and more expensive 8-to-2 wire. According to the NEC book for electricians, I chose to stick with the 30 amp breaker and 10-to-2 wire as recommended by everyone else that previously installed this heater. I too have not had any false trips of the breaker and everything's works as it should. This heater made my garage a nice 70 to 75 degrees while the outside temp was a cold 30 degrees. All of the accessories I bought at the big box store and spent about $70. I have included pics so you too can do it yourself. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being most difficult to install, I would rate installing this yourself as a 4. However, if you have never had experience with electrical things, I highly suggest a certified electrician due to 240 volts. Review number 2. I choose this heater because of its unusual wattage, between the usual 5 kilowatts and 7.5 kilowatts available on the market. It heats our 2-car insulated garage very effectively and the air temp becomes very warm, very quickly. It doesn't need a cool down cycle like most conventional heaters, so when you're done, you just switch it off at the breaker panel. It looks great. It is very quiet with no vibration. The instructions are poor. Make sure the 2 supplied rubber grommets get placed between the mounting bracket, supplied but not pictured, and the heater handle. I also cut the mounting bolt down a bit with a hacksaw to a more workable length. Installation took about an hour, with wiring already in place. I ran 10-gauge Romex from the breaker panel to the wall box, then ran 3 individual 10-gauge copper stranded wires to the heater through the manufacturer-required 3/4 flex conduit. All components available on Amazon or at Lowe's. I also installed a 30 amp double pole breaker, and have not had any trip issues. The heater is made in China. Says so on the box. Review number 3. This heater installed easily, and worked as advertised for a 500 square foot, insulated garage shop area. There have been a number of comments regarding the installation of a remote 4-wire thermostat to control this heater. Some of the complaints revolve around the inconsistency of heat control, and that the thermostat has to be continually adjusted upwards in temperature to maintain control. Here's what I discovered, as I ran into the exact same issue once I had the heater/remote thermostat installed. The issue is the heat generated by the current flow in the properly sized conductors and how it gets trapped in the 4x4 outlet box. I noticed that the heater ran fine on the high setting, and the garage space heated to the desired temperature and subsequently shut off. Then the temperature dropped considerably in the garage space, around 10-degree drop, and the thermostat did not kick the heater back on. I had to move the dial an additional 5 degrees off the original setting and it kicked on again. Same scenario as above, and finally ran out of adjustment. Touching the exposed box I noticed that it was warm, thus keeping the bimetal from tripping correctly. Running the heater in the low setting created some of the same type of problem, but it took longer for the problem to occur. I removed the thermostat unit from the box, keeping it connected to the circuit, and within a few minutes it was cycling correctly with about a 5-degree swing in temperature. I.e. normal operation. The Honeywell thermostat is Spec D for 21 amps, which is a little less than what the heater draws, so the thermostat is at its high current limit when driving the heater. So knocked out the unused holes for the conduit connections to provide better cooling flow through the surface-mounted 4x4 box, and it seems to have done the trick. The heater is running normally on all settings and the thermostat is cycling nicely, maintaining an even temperature in the garage. Review number 4. Love the heater and the thermostat control on the front. Tip for installation. Make it easy. Purchase an Ultra Whip 1/2 pre-assembled wire kit with fittings. They are made for air conditioners but work perfect for this installation. It includes 10-gauge wires and the 6-foot hose. Review number 5. This heater is doing an excellent job since installation. I have it hanging in the corner of my attached insulated garage, which measures about 700 square foot. Ambient temperature during the winter is high 40s. Takes the heater about 30 to 45 minutes to warm the air up to 68 degrees. After that, it nicely heats the space to around 72 degrees in no time at all and starts to cycle. If I can't be working in a short-sleeve t-shirt, I'm not happy. It is, by far, the best electric heater I've had in the garage. Since this is 6,000 watts continuous duty, 3 HRS and run times, remember that the NEC requires a step up in conductor sizing to 8 GA current with a 10 GA ground. Review number 6. What a relief to have heat in my 20x35 garage/wood shop. I was a little worried when I was ordering it, but it works great. It brought my garage temp from 20 degrees to 70 degrees in about half an hour. Then it would come on only once or so every hour to keep the temp up. Review number 7. Heater works great with just one flaw. The thermostat on this thing is junk. Seriously, it's a great heater and the price can't be beat, but do not install without a line-level thermostat. Installed without first and temp was all over the board. Spent approximate $25 on a Honeywell CT410V and it is awesome. Review number 8. Does a good job for me. I use it to heat my insulated garage stall when I need to work out there. I set it for about 45 or 50 degrees, and it makes it tolerable in colder weather. It cycles on and off fine, and is not noisy. Easy to mount, and compact. Not super high quality, but good for the price. Review number 1. This heater works really well. I decided to not direct connect the heater to the breaker panel. I opted to buy a 10-to-3 power cord and attach a 30 amp lockable plug to it. I bought approximate 10 feet of 3/4 conduit and ran 10-to-2 wire, black, white, ground, to a box with a 30 amp receptacle and cover plate attached. I used a double pole 30 amp breaker, 240V volts, due to the heater being able to draw 3000 watts on low and 6000 watts on high. The instructions are terrible and also suggest a 35 amp breaker. Instructions say use with 10